A key lesson that Nietzsche's life of hardship taught him was that any worthwhile achievement was born out of constant struggle and hard work. Though we sometimes suppose that success comes easily and naturally to some people, there was no such thing as a straight path to the top in Nietzsche's eyes. "Don't talk about giftedness or inborn talents," he wrote. "One can name all kinds of very great people who were not very gifted. They acquired greatness, they became geniuses. And they did so by overcoming difficulties." It's a lesson that the ballerina exemplifies. Monica Perego is a principal dancer with the English National Ballet.
It takes a lot of work, also dedication. It's a job that you do for love, really. And basically it's just a lot of practicing the same step over and over again till you get it right and you make it seem effortless. And a lot of pain in the body, of course, because it's a lot of strain for the muscles. And pain on the feet, obviously, because you've got these lovely pointe shoes on, which look really nice, but they're quite painful sometimes.
How much does it hurt? I mean, it's hard to imagine.
Well, it depends. You go through phases, really. But you do get a lot of blisters and you do get aches and pains all the time.
All the time?
Oh, yeah, pretty much. Especially backs and, I mean, it's personal, but backs and calves, and that's the worst. And, of course, blister on the toes and, you know, yellow nails. It sounds disgusting.
What's a yellow nail?
Well, basically bruised nails.
Right, bruised toenails.
So, yeah.
And do they bleed as well? Do your feet ever bleed?
Well, yeah, just with blisters. I had actually 2 toenails coming off as well.
Goodness me.
And for example, just we were at the Royal Albert Hall in June, and I've been off sick for a while, and I had to come back and go straight into Swan Lake rehearsal. And so my feet weren't used to it. So I had about 10 blisters on my toes, and I had to perform, you know, with like blood and, you know, loads of paddings and try to not to feel the pain. But of course, you always feel it.
Nietzsche said that without pain, without going through pain, there could never be any gain, and that anything that's worthwhile doing in life is going to take you through some awful things. Do you think that's right?
It's right in our career, for sure. Definitely. Because it is so straining, but the satisfaction at the end of the performance or at the end of someone's career, it's so amazing that no aches and pain would, you know, take that amazement away from it, you know.
The pain was worth it.
Oh yes, definitely.
At the heart of Nietzsche's philosophy is a simple idea: difficulty is normal. We shouldn't panic or give up when we experience it. We feel pain because of the gap between who we are at the moment and the person we could ideally be. It's because we can't master the ingredients of happiness straight away that we suffer as much as we do. But Nietzsche didn't think it was enough just to suffer. If hardship was all it took in order to be fulfilled, then all of us would be happy. The challenge is to learn to respond well to suffering, perhaps to use it to create something beautiful. Friedrich Nietzsche was one of the few philosophers to speak of the virtues of hardship and failure. He thought that we could all potentially benefit from them. Paul Brown ran a drinks distribution company outside Manchester, which went bankrupt last year. He's now back in business, but the experience of failure changed his life for the better.
As a person, do you think as you come in here every morning, do you think you're slightly different because you've had this experience?
Yeah, I'm in earlier for a start.
Yeah.
But no, I don't let the little problems, I don't let them get on top of me.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little problem. You know, it'll go away. You don't take it into it's like massive, you know, like it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
You know, the end of the world happened, you know, a couple of months ago, and it failed, and suddenly there's a new world. So, well, it hasn't ended at all. So you don't think a problem is the end of the world, you know.
So in a way, you don't panic as much because you think, well, I've been through the worst has happened,
yeah,
and I came through it.
Yeah,
yeah.
You do, because you know it's not as bad. It really isn't as bad, you know, as what everyone makes out. You know,
yeah.
Failing is horrible. I wouldn't like anyone to fail, but have the experience of failing, have the feeling of the experience of failing at least, you know, because that's horrible. But try not to fail, you know. But everyone fails, I suppose. Yeah. So.
And yet, I don't know. I mean, I think something interesting that Nietzsche says is that we slightly live in a culture where failure is not spoken of. It's like there are these failures and sort of that's just this freakish thing that happens to a few people and let's not talk about them. And then there's success. But somehow the two are not brought together. And I think what's quite interesting is to think in every life, even a good life, even a successful life, is going to involve some failure at some level. Not necessarily a huge level, but at some level.
Well, how would you be able to judge your success if you haven't failed? Yeah?
Paul's experience in many ways confirms Nietzsche's analysis of the benefits of failure. However, Nietzsche's point is more subtle. He didn't think that having failed was in itself enough. All lives have failures in them. What makes some lives fulfilled as well is the manner in which failure has been met.